All right, y'all, it's Yusuf here, video game plot summaries. Let's finish up this plot. When we last left off, a siege happened in Mel Senshir. Talera and Luana combined to beat the Baylor, which is a big monster, and turn the tides of the siege into the home team's favor. So now that they're past Mel Senshir, it's time for Luana to push forward and catch up to Gadflow in his own territory. So after that war, Commander O'Weiglin sings Talera's praises.
Then the rumors of her dishonor will finally be silenced. She gave everything to us in the end, and the world will know that. When we rebuild these walls, we'll name them after General Talera. Her memory will stand as long as the ramparts shine.
Afterwards, Luana heads outside and runs into a Fae named Sidon the Outcast. He is a prince in exile of the House of Sorrows. He must have gotten out right before everything went down. He's got a crazy-looking bow.
Before striking the heart, you must trim the fat and cleave through the bones. If you wish to put an end to Gadflow's reign, meet my brethren and me at Foe's Hearth to the east. We can talk further there.
I mean, what is it? Like, is it a bunch of horses or something? Like, there's just a hint of it back there, and the bow, and I'm just, what is that? I just want to know. Did they just catch some squirrels, skin them, and then taxidermy them and turn them into a bow? I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, at Foe's Hearth, Sidon introduces his group as the Bitter Frost. They know where Ventrinio is. Remember Ventrinio, the scientist that worked with Hughes that knows how Luana was reborn? He also knows how to get into Alabastra where Gadflow is. But first, Gadflow preaches the word of Tirnoch in chantries to their congregation. So Luana needs to bust up those chantries. No chantries, no communication for the Tuatha. These chantries are nothing special either. Just monuments where the Tuatha gather around like a bonfire. Once Luana destroys all three, Gadflow pops up to tell Luana how awesome his god Tirnoch is. She's probably a dragon. I'm just saying.
But death as you define it means little to us. The great cycle returns each Tuatha as Tuatha again. And every time they do, Tirnoch gets stronger. Soon, she will be born into this world. You will witness her power personally, and it will be the last thing your mortal flesh shall ever feel.
So, with that done, Sidon can move forward with his own plans while he leaves Luana to do her thing with Ventrinio.
Yes, we will take you to his filthy tower on the island of Danistar. He hides within, and has not emerged in some time. I would like nothing more than to let him rot there. But he knows of a way past the sentinel of the House of Pride. Far to the southwest, there is a darkened tree by the Kaled coast. Meet me there, and we can walk the shadow to the gnome's tower. Ailyn Shear will be waiting there. She was most insistent to join in whatever business you have with the Collector of the Dead.
At the Shadow Tree, Alin praises your work and preps you.
The Tuatha are on the run. Good work. Plus, it's much more pleasant here without Gadflow bellowing at me from all corners. But enough pleasantry. Are you prepared for your reunion with Ventrinio? Very forthright of you. I'm sure he'll be very reasonable. He probably won't even ask why you're back from the dead. Just make sure he lives long enough to get us into Alabastra, and you can count on my help. I'm just disappointed I never had a chance to see the original Well of Souls. I believe our new friend has a disturbing path of living shadow to offer you.
Cyan uses his magic to open the island path to you. Lots of nasty zombies. Ventrinio's creations, probably. As Luana and Alin raise the tower, Ventrinio gets more and more anxious.
Damn it! Hurry! Before the whole well starts to collapse.
They find him in front of his own Well of Souls, trying to calm it down because after the Baylor died, everything got harder to manage.
Gods damn it! Ever since the Baylor was defeated, the chaos magic sent the well off its alignment. You show up, and now the Laz are... Wait. What? It's you. You're alive. But I saw you die. It was terrible. You were the best assistant I ever had. Who else could have helped me get into Alabastra? Who else had that ambition? We got more than enough Prismere, but you wanted to track down the power source, even if it meant sneaking right under Gadflur's nose. I spent days trying to recover your body, but I never expected to find you alive, or for you to return. Speaking of which, how did you return anyway? What? That's impossible. You were attuned at this well. You've never even set foot in his lab. Ha! Hughes is a joke. He doesn't have the stomach for this work. Don't try waking the dead if you're not ready to make a few corpses, I say. But the well is coming down around us. Quick! I've got to slow the energy and shut this thing down. You don't? Oh, damn it all! Here they come! Hold them off!
With that, his zombies show up. While Luana and Alin bust them up, Ventrinio is shutting down the well. When it's done, everything comes crashing down.
There, perfectly safe. I think. Very delicate. Anything we can salvage? Even a piece? All my work gone. Damn it all! But at least we're still alive. Once again, I triumph over death itself. Going back into Alabastra. Well, I still have a way in, but it's more dangerous now than the last time we went. I'll need more Prismere if I'm to rebuild the well. And I suppose I owe you something for saving my life. Perhaps this talisman can help you. It's a little something I salvaged from the debris. It might just help against whatever killed you the first time. We got in with a little help, of course. See, it's all because of Callus Dren, the defender of pride. In his house, no one can stand before him. None can even approach, unless you have my little secret. Patience, patience. You'll have it soon enough. I'm going to have to dig it out of the rubble of the tower. Go to the field of Huber, and I'll meet you there.
So, with Alin disappearing as usual, Luana heads to the field of Huber, where Sidon is keeping the Shadow Gate open. Agarth, that fateful Fate Weaver from the game's beginning, is there now. Ventrinio walks up and hands Luana an amulet that has the soul of Dren's twin, which nullifies his power.
Dren had a twin in the Summer Court, Dith the Defender of Valor. They were both entirely immune to each other's power. She faded when the House of Valor fell, but my early experiments with the Well of Souls provided a quite useful little surprise. You see, when trying to draw life energy from the ether, I captured her essence and bound it into this charm. With this, you will be immune to Dren's power. Now, be fair. Fae don't have souls as mortals do. They are a form of magic with a physical form. And I only got a little of it anyway.
Luana confronts Dren, who agrees with her mission, but fights her as the guardian of his house.
I know your intentions are to free my people from the Tuatha. You seem an honorable sort. You even bear the blessing of my sister. But I have sworn an oath to defend my house and homeland. I cannot let you in without a fight, and you cannot win against me.
They bust each other up, but it's no use because of the stalemate Ventrinio was referring to. Drin explains that Gadflow is winning, and Drin's priority is to keep his house up because it is one of the things that keep the Fae alive. I guess that makes sense. His sister controlled another house, and she's dead, and the house is gone, so he really can't let his house fall. So Luana promises him that she will destroy the Witch Knight who runs the house for Gadflow, Myrna. In return, Drin drops his magical shield and fights Luana straight up. After Luana wins and Drin is dead, which I was surprised with. I didn't think that it was a death battle.
You did it! You actually beat him! Guess I owe Ventrinio a drink.
Luana and a few brave lady reinforcements bust in the House of Pride to delete Myrna and open the gate for the army to enter Alabastra.
Well, this is it.
Myrna was weak as hell, which is pretty sus. There was also a Chantry that Luana destroys, and that summons Gadflow.
Well done, child of dust. You've killed the immortal defender and liberated a house full of arrogant backstabbers. I should thank you for exposing the disloyal amongst my kin. But then, I have so much to thank you for. But soon you face the House of Vengeance, and their loyalty to Tirnoch is absolute. Pure. Instinct. The goddess of mercy awakens, and with every step you take into my homeland, she comes that much closer to walking our world and purging your kind. So, welcome to Alabastra. It shall be the death of you once more.
I hope the House of Vengeance's leader is stronger than Myrna. Real talk. And with that, the House of Pride officially surrenders and the gate is open for our enemies. The House of Pride even provides a little guidance into Alabastra for us, which is awesome. As Luana hacks her way through Alabastra, she runs into Ventrinio and Alin, who are making sure the other doesn't get into too much trouble. Ventrinio has info about me that is pretty useless and tells us more about Tirnoch.
You were attuned to the well in my lab, but Hugh's well captured your essence. The power in Bale seems to have been the missing element. What's more, I think that power is the source of the Prismere crystals. Something intelligent and malignant. The creature the Tuatha called Tirnoch. Something incredibly powerful. I don't know if we even have a name for what she is, because no one's lived to name it. She's not a god. She's something much, much worse. And judging by the growth of this Prismere, she's very close to coming into our world for good.
Wow, I can't wait to see what Tirnoch looks like. I think I have a pretty good idea, though.
Ventrinio insists on coming with me. Just as well. Someone should keep an eye on him. No telling where his true loyalties lie, or what he might do. Don't worry, I'll make sure he's safe.
Once Luana gets close enough to the House of Vengeance, Sidon meets up with her. With the absence of Ventrinio and Alin, the whole gang is here and ready.
Good to see you here. Ready? I am, but there hasn't been any sign of Mel Senshir or Ventrinio. Damn it all, I knew we couldn't trust her. I sent Ventrinio to keep an eye on her. He was sending me messages until recently. But there were fewer and fewer as we've gotten closer to Bale. We need to get through the House of Vengeance and kill the Cur. And we'll have to do it without them.
So everyone together fights through the House of Vengeance and finally gets to the Cur of Vengeance, who was harder to beat than Myrna. Not by much, though. All right.
That was amazing. You're twice the hero I ever was, or could have been. Our forces can't keep going from here. We're stretched too thin, and we've lost too much. Sidon and I will hold the gate for you as long as we can. But Bale is nearly deserted. Head in, face Gadflow, end this.
Real quick though, there's a lot of times in this game where they just kind of throw names at you and they act like they know that you know what the names are. Like Bale, like when did anybody talk about Bale? It's the same thing with Balor. Like they talked about the Balor coming through. You think that big huge monster would have been something we knew about all over the kingdoms of Amalur. You know what I mean? And they just kind of like, it seems like they write the story as it goes along, and when they need more obstacles and stuff like that, they just make up the names as they go along, and then they made the video game based on the names that they made up. You know what I mean? When did we say anything about Tirnoch? You know, it didn't happen until I was actually in Alabastra. But the problem is that Tirnoch should have been a real thing. So they kept showing us gaps.
Alright, this is Editor Yusuf, and I'm at the point where I'm interrupting myself because I go on and on about something I think is pretty substantial, and I'm kind of wrong. The game actually does bring up a few of these names, but the scope of the game is so big that the names become inconsequential. And even though I'm working through the video game plot summary and making the script as I go along, the names are brought up so seldom that they don't register inside my head, and I think that's a big problem with the game. I mean, they did bring up the Balor right at the last second and then started moving it forward, so you know that you're supposed to go to Mel Senshir, fight the war, and deal with the Balor, you know. But when it comes to Tirnoch and Gadflow and all of that stuff, we were told at the beginning of the game about Gadflow, and then as the game went on, they would tell us less and less and less. Now, I'm supposed to understand that the Tuatha is a cult that follows Gadflow. Gadflow follows Tirnoch. So the cult follows Tirnoch, right? So why is it that the Tuatha aren't really saying anything while you're fighting them? Nobody's trying to recruit. They're not trying to grab any extra Fae anywhere else. I mean, even in the House of Sorrows, one of those guys believed in the Tuatha, but nobody was trying to recruit for the Tuatha, which I think would be a better idea than trying to get the Tuatha to fight everybody, knowing that they're immortal and they're gonna come back over and over again. It's not how cults work. You know what I'm saying? You don't bring in 5 people in the cult and become very, very inclusive to those type of Fae. You would normally try to bring in as many people into the cult as you possibly can, and then try to take over using your religious beliefs and all of that stuff. So I think that that's important, and I think that the game kind of like floated by that part. I don't know if the writers didn't want to deal with it, because most of the writing in this game is pretty solid if you ask me. So that's the problem that I'm having. Not so much that they're not saying the names, but that they didn't make all the names of the stuff that was important an integral part of the story. All right? All right. Let's get back to the thing.
So inside Bale, Luana immediately runs into Alin without Ventrinio.
He attacked me. It was only a matter of time before his greed got the better of him. The closer we got to Bale, the more obsessed he became with Tirnoch, and with harnessing Tirnoch's power, just like Gadflow did. That's why he had to be stopped, and why we need to talk about our mission. Betrayed you? Never! You forgot the mission when you died. We're running out of time. I'll explain as we go.
Now, as we fight our way closer to Gadflow and Tirnach, the Prismere crystals are popping up all over the place, and the stories are told by the stones and by Alin. I'm sorry, the stones actually tell stories. They've been littered all over the kingdoms. I'm just now bringing them up because most of the time when you touch the stones, they don't really tell you anything of note. You just get EXP from them, so I just hit the stones, activate them, and then I run away. Take my EXP, man, whatever. Alin explains that Luana and Alin recognized that Tirnach was behind the rise of Gadflow.
When Gadflow's army arose, we recognized Tirnach's tainted influence. Only a force like her could warp eternal creatures like the Fae. So you came to infiltrate Alabastra, find Tirnach, and seal her away forever. And you used Ventrinio to get in, under the guise of being his assistant.
Tirnach's plan is to use Gadflow to free herself, and then the world will be doomed. So even though the Fate Weavers said Luana would die, Luana tried anyway. She failed, of course, and that's where the game picks up. Alin and Luana were partners in crime, or partners in heroics, I should say, with many secrets. So Alin was probably going to kill Luana since she couldn't remember anything. Luana could have been a danger to the Tirnach mission.
When I found you in Dalentarth, when I saw you had come back to life, I wasn't sure how much you remembered. I couldn't be certain you would keep our secrets. I considered killing you then and there. Nothing personal. You would have done the same to me. But then I saw what you had become. I saw the new powers you wielded. And I saw how useful you could be.
Once they get to Gadflow's door, Alin has to fully confront Luana.
This must have been a lot for you to take in at once. But I need you to be clear on who you are and what you need to do. A lot has changed since you were here last. It isn't going to be as easy this time. And last time it killed you. Everyone who knows the truth of Tirnach will be dead, and Tirnach will be sealed away once again. We can return to our duty of keeping the knowledge secret. Assuming that's the life you want to return to. But if you refuse, then I'd have to make sure you never tell the truth about Tirnach. Of course, I'd rather it didn't come to that. But you would have done the same. To save our world, Gadflow has to die and Tirnach has to be sealed away. You're the only one who can do it, and you'll probably need to be able to see. Now get in there, and try not to get yourself killed again.
And after all that WWE-type build-up, oddly enough, we walk in and Gadflow doesn't say anything. Gets right to the fight. And after defeating him, we find it's an illusion. Well, that explains it.
Something's not right.
Oh no.
If Gadflow isn't here, then he must be hiding further underground, someplace closer to the source of the Prismere. She's imprisoned deep in the Amathin, but Gadflow's war has weakened her bonds. There's no time to spare. If she gets free, our world is lost.
So the two haul ass closer and closer into Tirnach's lair, while Tirnach yells at them telepathically and makes Luana fight the different fates she suppressed by not having a fate. Alin checks Luana's pupils again.
Only you have the power to reseal Tirnach inside the Amathin. I must keep the secret of her existence from the world. Once Tirnach is pushed back into her prison, these caverns must be sealed. But that leaves one question. Can I trust you to keep Tirnach's secret? That is excellent. After all that you've done, it would have been a shame for you to die a second time. If you do escape, I will be watching you. And know this, anyone who learns the truth of what happens here, I will silence myself. Go. Stop Tirnach from fully entering this world. But remember, my blades will always be at your back. Nothing in the world is fated to stop Tirnach. That's why you're the only one who has a chance. I'm just here to make sure you take it.
Come, Fate Weaver. Bring me your power. Sacrifice yourself and seal the fate of your world.
It's time to choose your fate. Amathin lies beyond. This is where the dragon will breach the veil.
Come forward, mortals. Behold the birth of Tirnach. Attend your final hour.
My fate does not lie beyond those doors. You alone may change what is to come. Go!
Welcome back, mortal. How does it feel, I wonder, to return to this place? Does the pain of your death still linger? Can you feel it echo through the air? And now, in this place, you shall witness the birth of Tirnach, the destruction of the Alpha, and the dawn of the endless winter. Oh, yes, she comes. Tirnach the powerful, Tirnach the merciful, Qualla fella Tirnach. Qualla sera Tirnach. Tirnach? Have I done well, lady? Are you pleased? Did I...
You have served your purpose.
But I have so much more to give.
And now, Fateless One, you shall serve yours.
So then Luana faces Tirnach, who is not a dragon. Not a dragon. And that leads us to the end. Get him!
Impossible!
How could we have known that this would be a new beginning? I wonder now if we should have foreseen this outcome, but who knew then what fate would bring? I would have liked to have delivered this message in person, to see you one final time. That, however, would have been complicated. The order to which I belong had other plans. Were you ever to leave the crystalline fortress? When it comes to you, though, it seems no fate is written in stone. It was only through my assurances that your silence could be counted upon that either one of us still draws breath. I trust you will not make of me a liar. Were stories of what we have seen to begin to surface in the inns and taverns of Amalur? I would be asked to seek you out. And as we both know, the next time you die, there will be no return. But let us not speak of this. Your life is your own. Go now, and see what fate may bring you, or what fate you may bring. Perhaps one day in happier times, you and I will meet again. Until that day, I remain yours, Aelin Shear.
Oh. Hey, we did it. All right, that's the ending, pretty much. Garth pretty much says that no one has a fate anymore after Luana came back and gives the cue for her to go out and finish some quests. What do you guys think? I thought it was pretty awesome. The game was really big and expansive, and all of the running around to get to point B over and over again really stretched out all these stories to the point where they weren't very comprehensible. However, pulling them all together like this kind of makes me have an appreciation for them. I kind of like how they turned out. I mean, Tirnock eventually being revealed as a giant fire-breathing lizard with wings and not a dragon was the biggest surprise of them all. So that's all I got. And I would like to remind you to hit the like and subscribe buttons to show your appreciation of all the hard work that most YouTubers do. Until next time, peace.